Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Vanissia. This is the Woolly Worker Knitting Podcast and today I am joining you for a very simple, very chill and relaxed knit and chat where I guess I'll update you on whatever I've been up to, tell you my thoughts about knitting at the moment, maybe some plans for the future, and also just for me to get some progress on my whip and maybe for you to get some on yours and we can just do that alongside. Maybe I'll not try and fill all the silences necessarily and it can just be like we're side by side in a cafe knitting together. So, oh god, I'm so out of practice. If you're new here, I have a back catalogue of a lot of podcast episodes, but recently we bought a house and it's been really busy and kind of it has taken my attention so much so that I've not really been knitting a lot or making videos a lot, but I still very much like it. I want to get back into it, both the knitting and the videos, and that's why I'm making this video today to kind of work that video muscle to make sure that it doesn't become this big scary thing that's daunting to do and edit and forget how to edit videos. Um, I guess I guess I'll keep this as natural as it can be. So I'm wearing the Cumulus blouse by Petite. I made this last summer. I think it was pretty much like one of the last pieces I made before really slowing down with the knitting. It is a bit warm actually, so this is a little uncomfortable. Just wearing a bra. This is made of cereal alpaca and cotton. It's like a DK gauge. I think the original uses two strands of mohair held together, but I just used this hand-dyed base from Zakami and it was hand-dyed by them. I think I used less than two skeins of it, like one and a half to be honest. It's really light. It is really soft next to skin, and at first I thought it would be really cool, like warmness wise, but it actually is becoming quite warm. I like the fit of it. I like the depth of the V-neck. I like the fact that it's kind of like a curved V-neck and not like that sharp because of the I-cord kind of smoothing and softening those edges. Sleeves wise, I'm happy with the size of them, like happy with the raglan. So I really like this piece. It's kind of hard to know when to wear it, but I thought I'd give today a go. Clearly was not the best decision necessarily, but I'm trying to get back into wearing my knits as well. I've just been seeing a lot of content about Me Made May, and obviously a lot of people are doing that for sewing, and then some people are doing it for knitting as well. Like, if you don't know, it's about wearing a piece of handmade clothing all throughout the month of May, documenting it if you feel inclined, but you don't have to. And it made me realize that I have not worn knitting in so long, and I think 80 or 90% of that is because a lot of my knitting and yarn has been really stored away while we were dealing with like sort of house renovations and decor. So all my sweaters and cardigans and tops have been put away in little storage canvas boxes that have a zipper. That's how I wanted to make sure that it wouldn't get affected by bugs or dust or anything. So happy I got those zipper things, put them on top of each other, really far away, behind some other things, so not accessible day to day at all. And you would say, well, why didn't you put them into like a closet or wardrobe? We didn't have one for the longest time. Now we finally do have wardrobes, but I don't think that my knits can fit into those wardrobes, so I'm gonna have to put them into, I think, my craft room. The plan is to have this like sideboard buffet, like the ones you'd put in the dining room, and then I'll just have like my knits in like folded in stacks and piles of sweaters, and that'll be like in the sideboard. I think that's the idea, and I'm all over the place with this narrative, but yeah, I want to show you my yarn room once it's finished. It's like yarn room was the idea at first, but it's probably going to end up being like more of an office, and I'm prioritizing a lot of like aesthetics and decor, maybe more so than like how much yarn and craft supplies I have stored and on display. At first, when we were moving, I was so excited to have a yarn room, and I was really planning to have yarn everywhere and to make it super yarn friendly in terms of having like the Swift out and about and my sweaters and my little scarves that I made. Like I really wanted it to be like a knitting room. And then it's so weird because at the time when I was designing this idea, it was because knitting was my life and it was most of what I was caring about and thinking about and doing day to day. You know, I'm already starting to talk, so I will actually just knit. I'll come back eventually to what this is. But yeah, so I was really thinking that knitting was most of my personality, and so I wanted to have a room that reflected that. And then actually, because I put knitting a little bit on the back burner, and what I ended up being consumed by was house related things and home decor. I started watching a lot of videos regarding that and talking about that, talking my boyfriend's ears off about home decor and decisions. And and in the end, I took a big liking to the rules regarding home decor and how to make a room feel balanced and how to use contrasting colors. And like I really took an interest in this, and it became my new focus. And that made me want to have an office space where I spend most of my days in, reflect that personality as well, and like sort of put into practice all the things that I've learned about decorating. And it'll still have so much of my personality because it will have a lot of knitting and art, um, and objects and items that are mine, but I'm also going to buy a few things that are just for the sake of decorating, which is really weird when I think about my ethics and personality regarding anti consumerism and capitalism. It's hypocritical of me to then go and buy an object whose sole purpose is to be pretty. It really isn't something that I guess I thought I would do so much of or want to do, but I'm allowed to do it. Like it's fine. I'm aware of sometimes the discrepancies in what I believe in and what I do, but I mean we all do it, and it's not like it's not something that I can't live with. So all that to say that when I'm gonna be doing my yarn room very soon, knitting will not feature in it as much as I thought it would because it's not as much a part of my life anymore. Um, but it'll still very much have like yarn in hidden corners in storage. My sweaters, like I just said, I'm planning to put them in that office. I'm planning to also put like my filming supplies and like my microphone and my tripod hopefully would sort of maybe just be attached to my desk at all times just to make setting up filming easier because here I had to like find where all that stuff was and put it precariously on like a pile of books. So I want to make life easier for myself in the future by having things like be as set up as they can be. Um, and I hope again that you bear with me whilst I rediscover like how to make videos and what my video style is going to be. Even though I know that every time I say that, most of the comments are like literally none of this matters. The only thing that matters is just like that you're talking to the camera about knitting. And that's why people are here. Like most of you, the people who are subscribed, the people who are not subscribed and they're just watching, if they don't like it, like they'll just leave, and that's completely fine. There's no shortage of different styles of YouTubers and knitting videos online. But I guess the last, 10 minutes have not really been talking that much about knitting, and it's been a little bit home related, maybe too much so. And that pretty much reflects what life has been like for the last, like 7 months now, I think, is how long it's been since we've moved. It was in September. And it's been a whirlwind, and there's been ups and downs. It's definitely been really stressful and also really rewarding. Like the smallest things can just spiral into big decisions, like lots of money being talked about and like big consequences possibly if things aren't fixed, or yeah, just making big decisions such as like what color do we want this, what rug should we get. So many decisions are to be made, but then when things are coming together, such as this room, which is our bedroom, clearly there's like a little green color scheme going. We've got those like wood panels up, little mood lighting. It all came together quite quickly at the end, after months of planning and deliberating, and it was really, really rewarding. And now we love sleeping here. It's really getting closer to the final idea. And I guess maybe knitting is a little bit like that, where like it is a slow process where you, if you're like me, you really plan your project in advance and you think about like any modifications you're gonna make. Maybe you look at other Ravelry projects, see reviews of the patterns, and just think like about yarn really thoroughly before you actually go and use it, and sleeve length, body length, just everything. You think about it a lot, and you don't know if it's all going to come together until the end. Like sometimes the very end, when you still need to block it to see how it all looks like at the end, proportions wise and lengthwise, lace and cables. And I guess that's why we're still in the hobbies, because we're prepared to pay the price of like the uncertainty of not really knowing how it's going to be. And at the end, it usually works out and it's really rewarding. And if things don't work out, those are lessons to be learned for the future. But I guess the difference with knitting is that when I'm knitting, I'm enjoying the process. It is relaxing, mindful, or mindless. Mindful, I think. And it's just nice to have this to keep my hands busy while I'm watching TV or watching YouTube videos, obviously. Bring to the parks, on the train. Like, it's really relaxing and it's nice, and I like having it on sort of like, not the back burner, but like as a tool in my arsenal of like, well, if I'm really stressed, like just go and take your knitting, spend an hour knitting, the repetitive motions will probably soothe you, etc. So that's an added benefit. Whereas with all this house stuff, I have not really enjoyed the process, to be honest, and I think it's not controversial to say that, and a lot of people say like buying a house is one of the most stressful times of your life. And it wasn't just the buying, like the buying experience actually went as smooth as it could have. But it's just everything that happened afterwards with having to make like renovations, adapting to having this huge responsibility on our shoulders, and the fact that if we don't step up and if we become complacent, it like we'll have no one else to blame but us. Like nobody's gonna come in and save us. Like this is our asset, I guess. Um, and then yeah, like the decor. Honestly, when I think about it, the thing that's I guess the most stressful about it all is really about money. To be honest, it's just the fact that if you make the wrong decisions, it can become costly quite a lot. So if we decide on having some curtains or a rug or some new floors put down, and we make the wrong decisions and we don't like what we chose, or we get sick of it because it was too bold, or we get too bored of it because it was too simple, like if we really hate those floors after a while, like it would cost so much to to change, to switch that over. And if we don't want to waste that money, then we just have to live with floors that we don't like in our house, in the space that we live in. And I really care about making this space that I live in a nice, safe space, comfortable, calming, but creative and welcoming to other people. Like I have all those goals for what I want this house to be. And it just feels like the stakes are quite high, because yeah, I have high hopes for it. Even if at the core of it, the biggest hope I have for this house is that like I like what it looks like inside. Like I like the environment that I spend most of my time in. And it's just been really stressful the last few months to try and reach that goal, if I'm honest. That's kind of what's been preoccupying me. And we're really going, like, we're seeing the end of the tunnel. It's coming together. We're very happy with 99% of our decisions, so no big major regret on anything. Um, and now that my craft room is finally coming together, we're literally like a few days away from me moving back into that office, because I had switched over to a different room in the house whilst that was getting like the floors done and like a new radiator, etc. So I'm moving back in that room in a couple days, and I'll finally put to practice all the ideas that I've been working up on my mood boards, and I'll finally take all my sweaters out of storage and all my yarn out of storage. I already started, actually there's some yarn in that little IKEA drawers. it's all my sweater quantities that are like sort of color coded. I've got all my blue sweaters, grey sweaters, and like pink, red sweaters quantities. So that's probably going to stay there, to be honest, because that's a good place for them to be. Then I'll have all my like single skeins, accessories quantities, leftover yarns from previous projects. I think I'll have to find a place for that, probably in some boxes that I will then label and everything. I'm excited by the challenge of having this space be so personalized to me, where if I identify a problem or something that I want to address, then I can find a solution for it. So if the problem is that I've got a lot of single skeins, like I could just like make a vertical display of them. And having all that freedom is great, but it's also overwhelming to have so much choice and the possibilities being endless, as opposed to moving into a place and, you know, whether you have shelves or not is not for you to worry about, or if you do have shelves and they're a certain height, like that's just what you have to deal with, and then you have to build around that, as opposed to you deciding in the first place how high you want your shelves to be. And anyway, all that to say that I think it's going to be a summer of knitting. I think I'm finally coming around to getting really inspired. I went through my Ravelry queue and I looked at a lot of the projects that were there and which ones I wanted to do next. And if anything, actually, something that's been abandoned pretty much a year ago was my Yell cardigan by Mary Wallen. Um, it was a year ago in April that I stopped or I started, and then I stopped a few months later. And I was a bit worried about getting back on that horse because I wasn't sure like where I stopped in the body. I knew I was starting to do some kind of V-neck shaping modification that's not in the pattern. I wasn't sure if I had made notes on them. I knew I had made paper notes and I have no idea where those are. But thankfully, past Vanissia actually wrote down those notes back on Ravelry. So really happy to say, as of last week when I checked, I'm pretty sure thanks to like my Ravelry notes, I can pick up where I left off and everything will be fine. So I've actually taken that yarn and the project back from storage and it's now sitting sort of next to me in my vision. So I think that might be the next thing that I pick up is to continue that body. All the very scary bits are still in front of me with the shaping and the steeking and the sewing the sleeves together. Like, I guess it was hard to make all the decisions about which modifications I would make before I started the pattern. Like that, there was a lot of research that went into that project, and that was kind of hard. Then the first bit was quite easy and smooth sailing of just following the chart and knitting the pattern in Fair Isle. And then now it's the hard bit of actually having some shaping to do. But I'm looking forward to it. It's something that I've been wanting to wear at yarn festivals so much, but yeah, it's not there yet. I did go to a yarn festival in April, the Woolly Good Gathering, and it was really nice. The venue was awe-inspiring. It was beautiful. I didn't go with anyone, but then I saw some friends there, and it was nice to catch up with them. I felt like a ghost, you know, because I felt like I hadn't seen anyone in so long or really talked to anyone over on Instagram, and I'm not really watching a lot of podcasts as much as I used to, so I feel like I'm a little out of the loop of like what's happening in people's lives as well. And of course, I don't have to watch people's podcasts to keep up with their lives. I can actually ask them, like friends, you know, like, oh, what's happening in your life and even in your knitting as well. But once you step out a little bit, it feels weird to come back in. Even though in the grand scheme of things, it's only been like a year, not even that, but I feel like it has been a year since I've kind of stopped basically making videos like every week or every 2 weeks. And it feels like everything has changed in a short period of time. And I've actually decided to remove Facebook from like my phone, and I'm really close to removing Instagram from my phone as well. I was doing a little audit of like if I'm using Instagram in the last week, to note down every time that I see something that is actually important. So like if there's a certain person or page that I want updates from, like I'll write down, that's good that I saw that on Instagram. And honestly, like it's insane how meaningless this all is and how little value I'm getting from it. I think I was getting even more from Facebook because I follow my local council and they give updates sometimes on like bin collections or like road closures in town. So that's actually very helpful for day-to-day stuff. Instagram, I honestly was only following like the one of the benefits I get from it is some people sometimes have discounts. And so like not even yarn shops, I follow a few other shops there like hairdressers and sometimes they say like, "Oh, we have a monthly offer." And so that's valuable to me, especially if it was something that I was going to buy in the first place. Like if I needed a haircut and they're having an offer like in April, then I might as well go get it in April. But if it was for something that I didn't need, like yarn, and then there's a dyer offering like a discount or like stock take sale or whatever, then yeah, the word discount just attracts me like moth to a flame. But it's something that then brings a question in my mind of like, should I buy it or not? And that question wasn't there in the first place. Like it wasn't like that day I was planning to make a decision on whether to buy something or not. And now the question is being posed and I feel like I have to address it. So yeah, Instagram is really just bringing temptation and a bit of envy with like other people's like photos or aesthetics or lifestyles, you know, like I mean this is as old as time, is just comparing ourselves to other people on social media. I'm really not immune to it at all, and if anything I might be even more vulnerable to it than like some other people. So all that to say, very likely that I will not delete my Instagram, but like just delete it from my phone, which is pretty much the only place I access it from. So again, if I don't reply to your messages or something, it's probably because I didn't see it at the time. And so that kind of brings me to, again, coming back to YouTube and knitting. If I'm not advertising myself on Instagram or connecting with people there, it still feels a little bit one-sided for me to just talk at the camera and not really hear anything back from you guys. And I did really enjoy that part of making videos in the last like couple years. It was meeting people and um, having familiar names and usernames coming back on my screen every time and feeling those connections. And also getting so much advice from people who commented and answering questions or helping me make decisions and choices. That was extremely valuable, and I miss that. So I think YouTube is still very much the place that I want to be, as opposed to like Instagram or other platforms. In terms of output, well, I have been knitting more the last couple months. I did a test knit for the Creabea. I'm almost finished with the body of this sweater. I did a hat, and like I said, I'm gonna take back the yell, but that will be very slow probably, unless I really focus on it, and then hopefully I will reach some interesting parts of it, like the shaping, and that'll be interesting to show. I might do like, yeah, like a office tour. I'm not gonna do like a build my office with me or like time lapse or before and after, because it's already stressful enough as it is to like build it in the first place. So I'll just show you when it's done and I'll show you like why I made the decisions that I made. Maybe a stash tour while we're at it, because then all the stash will be out of storage. Maybe like a wardrobe tour of all the knitted sweaters, because they'll all be in the one place. Like the possibilities are endless. And I guess maybe ask me if you have any requests of what you want to see from me, because obviously it has been ages and all the past videos have very much been like podcast updates or knit and chat updates or plans for winter. So if you have anything that you want to ask, like, you know, like an Edinburgh yarn shop tour that's overdue, or like my favorite knits of last year and things like that, like I'm happy to hear suggestions. Turns out I am actually feeling all the silences, and this is not a chill knit and chat. This is just me completely unloading myself on you. I hope that's okay. I mean, it probably is, because yeah, you're here for whatever I have to say, so you're probably still here. But yeah, why don't I show you what I'm doing right now actually. So I'll just reach the end of this row. This is the Foxberry Tea by Starry Nordland, and I started this back in November. So the yoke of it has lace and bubbles and no cables, just lace. And I thought that would be really interesting and fun to do, and then after that it would be miles of stockinette on the body, and that would be nice and relaxing to do as like a stockinette project, whilst probably having something else on the side that would be more complicated. No modifications to this at all, just shortening the body a little bit, and then the sleeves, I don't know yet. I might shorten them or lengthen them depending on like where I reach on the sweater. But yeah, I started in November and it clearly has taken ages to get to where I am now. And that's because the yoke took months because I didn't really enjoy doing it because of the bubbles. So that's the back of the sweater. There we go. So that's it. It's very Sarah Nordland like it's very classic. The yoke looks really lovely here on camera. It's blowing out the colors. In real life, it's quite darker. Actually, I lied. I made a modification to the neck. I think her original is a double folded neck, maybe even normal rib. I did twisted rib, and I just did a single normal rib, like 5 centimeters of it. Um, yeah, the yoke has bubbles everywhere, and that was just insanely annoying to do. Like, it never was enough rows between the bubble rows, so you just reach them so fast every time, and I just hated doing it, so it took a long time. The yarn is Holst Garn Super Soft in Kingfisher, and then Titicaca in Emerald. And I remember I bought this again ages ago, and at the time I bought them at different points in time, and in my mind when I was doing the project planning I thought that they would match better, but after buying the second one I realized that the emerald is obviously brighter and greener. I don't even know if they're really the same color family. I mean, this one does pull a little bit yellow, so I think they are both sort of warmer greens, but I thought it would look different. And in terms of the fabric it creates, it's not the end of the world. It is marled for sure. I was, again, if I had planned this better, I would have preferred the second strand, the lace weight, to be the darker color as opposed to the main strand. I think it just kind of almost looks like a shadow when you do that, like on the lace and the cables. I'm using the Titicaca as a as an alternative to mohair. It is 100% alpaca because I thought I want to stop using mohair. I want to make those like soft to skin, but the super soft is a misnomer because it is not soft, and overall this fabric is feeling really like crunchy and rough. And I know super soft is supposed to soften when you block it because it still has spinning oils on it, and it might be something that over time with wear also like relaxes, kind of like linen does. I just hope I get to wear this sweater enough for that to happen, but if not, this will have to be some kind of like always wear long sleeves underneath type of sweater. Um, but it's not bad. It's not bad. It's just not what I had expected. Although again, really depending on the color, like it's working. Like it's I don't have anything else of that color, like either store bought or made myself. And again, I'm happy to be using things from my stash. This was a long time coming, and I guess it is satisfying to use those like double strands quantities because then you like can use your stash twice as fast. I think that might inform my future decisions on what project I do next. Maybe use something that has two strands. I was thinking of maybe making a champagne cardigan by Petite knit in this like blue, like cyan, um, sky blue. I forgot the. I don't know if I know the name of this color, but I'll show you next time or I'll put it on screen. But that's a color that I'm very excited to use, and a cardigan will always be really nice and useful. We have really cold winters here, although I laugh because I know like half of the people watching me will have even colder winters, so like they won't like me complaining, but I'm taking our winters pretty hard, and I'd love to have this huge, big, oversized, fluffy cardigan in a nice cheery color. And then in summer, we don't have really warm summers, so there's no point in me making tank tops. I think I'll not make any this year, but I think t-shirts will always be good. And also short-sleeved woolly cardigans. That was one of my latest makes, was the Cathy cardigan by the Creabea as a test knit, and I got lots of compliments on it at the Woolly Good Gathering, which bolstered my confidence. I want to chase that high and I want to get complimented more. So I will make more of things of that style, and wearing them with long skirts was also very fun to do. The weather we were having at the time, it was quite cold outside, but when the venue was heated, then having this like woolly short sleeve cardigan was perfect. So I think that this is an appropriate thing to knit in Scotland, and that's what I will do. I don't know if I have any quantities that were like specifically bought for a short sleeve cardigan, but I have a lot of things that I could switch purposes for in the stash, and I have another thing that I think I showed you while I was already moved here. It was the Maggie cardigan by Petite in like a very beautiful lilac, and that was from Cardiff Cashmere, and I still haven't put buttons on it, so I've never worn it, which is terrible. I actually even took the buttons from my stash, like set aside so that I would actually go and sew them on, and now I don't know where they are anymore. That's just very disappointing. But hopefully, like I say, like the house is a mess right now because we pretty much had to empty the first floor for things to get down there. So the lower floor is then holding twice the amount of stuff that it normally should do. But we're very close to putting everything back where it belongs, and so the buttons might appear and reveal themselves, I hope. I've been seeing that trend of like the buttery yellow sweaters or color happening for the summer, and it was funny. I was telling my boyfriend about that, like the color of the summer, like Brat Summer, and I showed him that like album cover and color, and he did not understand. He was like, "Who this? What do you mean the color of the summer? Who decides that? How does it happen?" And then we were discussing whether it was something that was just related to the knitting world, or if fashion obviously like influenced or was influenced by that. And then we were wondering about whether like maybe even yeah, like homeware, like curtains, pillows were also influenced by trends. Like for example, Marks and Spencer's, I quite like shopping there for homeware, and they have like new arrivals every now and then, and I feel like stripes are in, which I mean they always are, and like bubbles or like curvy things. And again, it's interesting that there's trends in homeware as well. And I guess I was wondering if sometimes they correlate with each other. Like, am I gonna see some buttery yellow? I was seeing actually a few of those for like Easter time, like the pastel yellow, pastel green, pastel pink, and purple. But it might be a coincidence. And I guess Easter does remind people of pastels. But I think I don't have anything yellow in my stash at all, so I'd have to buy a quantity of whatever. Obviously, I am influenced by this, and like I like it. I mean, I've been conditioned to be influenced by those trends online, and you can either fight it or lean into them, or you can say that like you were doing it before it was cool. But I'm seeing it, I'm influenced by it, I want to do something buttery yellow. I don't know why. Like, is it to feel a sense of belonging to the community? Is it because it's just someone helpfully making me realize that this is something that I like, and so it's good to be influenced by trends because it's like, oh, great, thanks for the suggestion. I will take this in. The same way that if you hadn't thought of something and someone told you, oh, why don't you try that? And then it works out for you, and then you keep using it. Like, that could be what trends bring us. or it's a bad thing because then it will make me abandon all the rest of the plans that I was working towards, and it will make me go out of my way, buy some buttery yellow yarn, do it without thinking, and then maybe not really like it in the future. That's kind of the same with decorating the house, where there's a lot of things that Facebook actually has been horrible for, like really pushing video content at me of home decor, and a lot of it is quite maximalist and over edited, and colors are brightened and the cuts are so short, and it's very like it's very aggressive content. I feel it's like aggressively telling me fill your house with stuff. It's so pretty, and like dopamine decor and things like that. Like you've heard of that, I'm sure. Like dopamine cast on, and it just kind of feels like, yeah, I feel like some people or some companies definitely have ulterior motives in that. I think what I'm trying to say is, again, very not groundbreaking, but social media content is calculated. Pretty much anyone that makes money from social media has an ulterior motive, which is that they want to keep making money or make more money. And whatever effect that has on you, that's not like their problem as long as they're achieving their goal. Um, so yeah, those people who make those videos that are like trying to sell you a lifestyle by convincing you that it's like people who are like faking being natural, but they've actually rehearsed and staged and curated and carefully considered everything about the shot. Like in real life, like with the home and with knitting, like people's lives are in the way of getting the perfect shot or the perfect living room. And yeah, I guess I just really want to spend less time online and more time in real life, interacting with real people and seeing real people's houses as opposed to like the Instagram houses. And for knitting, that's the same thing. Like, I wish I was spending more time with my real life knitty friends, and I'm going to try and make an effort to do that. And that's why maybe it's harder to come back to YouTube, because it is online and I'm trying to spend less time online. But I also like sharing what I do. Speaking of which, I'll put a little 1 or 2 minute clip at the end of the video, which is a little vlog I did of the Woolly Good Gathering, but there's no talking points, it's just clips of me enjoying myself and visiting the stalls. It was a really, really lovely day in Edinburgh. We ate there and then had some ice cream and milkshakes afterwards at Mary's Milk Bar. If you've not been, it's amazing. There's usually a queue right outside, and it's worth the wait. So yeah, I had all intentions to make an actual video out of that, but too much time passed between me filming those clips and then me having the motivation to recap the day, so it didn't happen, but I still wanted to use the clips, so I'll just put that at the end of this video. But yeah, I think my voice is going, so I'm gonna leave it here. I hope that this wasn't too heavy or too much of a downer. It helped me to dump all those thoughts on you, and I'd really, really like to hear your thoughts on any of this. I feel like everything I've been going through this year is really new to me and has given me so much to think about, and that's why I feel like I need to just kind of process what's going on and how my life has changed since just simply a year ago. And I'd love to hear maybe some advice, or if any of this resonates with you, or if you've also like had struggles in your first year of home ownership, or if you got into home decor as well, and if you find similarities between home decor and knitting, because I feel like it's not a coincidence that I ended up liking both of them. And I'm sure other creatives out there will have an interest in that. So yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you're looking forward to the next one and you stick around for that. If you haven't subscribed already, I'd really appreciate it if you did. You can also like this video. Like I said, leave a comment to tell me what you think, because it feels a bit revealing to say all this stuff, and I'd really like to hear back. And yeah, hopefully the next video that you'll see will be filmed in my new office, all set up, and you can give me your thoughts on the project. It probably will be a regular podcast episode, so I will show you my Kathy cardigan. This probably will have a lot of progress done on it, and maybe even the yell will have been picked up. I think that would be really exciting, and I think you guys will like seeing that project back, because you really seem to like it before. Hope you're doing well wherever you are, and happy knitting! Bye everyone!